Atlanta, live from K.L.P Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The swanky one, new K.L.P.
and
With your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Let me know when you're ready. Okay. What it do, we back?
What it do, people?
Yeah.
I know it's been a minute. I know. We'll get to it.
What happened was. What happened was.
Hey.
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 What had happened was.
Hey.
What had happened was.
Hey.
What had happened was.
Woo!
What had happened was.
What had
What had
happened
happened was.
What had happened was.
What had happened
Hey.
was. What had happened
Ladies
was.
and gentlemen,
Woo!
What had happened was.
Yeah.
What had happened was.
ladies and gentlemen, she got it. She got the button. I know. We sorry, y'all. We sorry. All right. That's the first comment I'm gonna say on the podcast.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to our ever-growing, extraordinary. I know we took some time off. We'll get to it. Podcast. What had happened
What had
was
happened was.
podcast
Hey.
with I'm your gracious, highly favored, humble podcast host, ready to pod. Got the studio upgraded with some new toys in here too. But your podcast host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas, ladies and gentlemen, she got it. She beat me to. She beat me to the button.
We got to share it.
She beat me to this
We
button.
got to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to my right, let me tell you about this podcast host, this extraordinary lady, right? That's to my right here. She
Yes,
is
yeah.
an actor, singer, songwriter, producer, selling out those shows. We'll get to that part. Evelyn Letitia's here in the building.
What's up? Gang, gang.
Gang, gang. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So I know it's been a hot second since we pod, Evelyn.
Yes.
We've
has.
been busy. We'll get to what we've been doing.
Busy and blessed.
Making some other strides and other venues and other avenues and other things going on. Before we check in on each other, I do got to make this announcement. I talked about it on Broco Podcast and K.L.P. Aftermath Podcast as well, but you guys are getting a 2-for-1 special this week. 2 episodes this week. So there's quite a few reasons why we're doing it. Number one, it's been a minute since we pod.
Yeah.
So we got to give our fans a whole lot of podcasting this week so that way you guys can catch up with us. And next week, we're taking vacation. I've talked about it plenty of times. I'm going to be out the country.
They're probably like, didn't y'all just say vacation, baby? Don't monitor our time.
Yes, don't monitor our time. But I'm going to Punta Cana. I'm going to the beautiful Serenade Resort. I need a vacation. I'm tired. Podcasting and filming and production has been great, but I'm tired. I need a vacation. So that's another reason why we're doubling up.
Yeah.
So we won't be in the studio next week. K.L.P. Entertainment will be closing down. When I was in production, I told Evelyn, like, yeah, we got to double up because I'm closing down K.L.P. Entertainment. She thought we were closing for good.
I was like, hold on, what you mean you closing down K.L.P? Like, what?
We ain't closing for good.
'Cause
We just for a week.
He didn't say, "Oh, I'm just, we're gonna shut down the studio next week." He didn't like what he said. I'm closing down K.L.P. And I'm like, but hold on, what do you mean? Like, is it me?
Dude. K.L.P. we're gonna be here for a very, very long time. It's just vacation next week. I'm so excited, and that's my friends that they were just texting me because we're getting things ready. So again, the 21st through the 28th is where we're gonna be closing down the offices because the 21st I need a couple days to get ready. 23rd I leave out. Come back on the 27th, but on the 28th I need a day to rest. I've got some new furniture coming to the house, and we changing some stuff up. So I just say, hey, I'm closing the whole office that week. But Evelyn, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
I've been watching you.
Oh my God! Look, you know how busy it's been because we tried to get in the studio last week, and I swear for God, every day we both were on sets filming or I was working in the theater doing all kind of stuff. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna come Monday. But then I just did some production work for a commercial shoot when I was on a production team. And originally I was told to hold, a Tuesday and a Wednesday. But then my deal memo came out and it was like, oh, we're going to be on set like Monday and Tuesday. I like, hold on. So then I had to call him back. I'm like, hey, yeah, Wednesday. I'll be there Wednesday because Monday I can't anymore. So to be in the studio, one, it feels great. But I've been very preoccupied a lot past month and a half, 2 months with the theater. I am the current set dresser and props master for a show at Center Stage in Greenville called Murder Plain and Simple. It is a brand new work, right? So the director, she won New Play Festival, I think, last year. And so one of the perks of that is your play gets put on the main stage the next year for the next season. Yeah. So this show will be the first time any audiences are seeing it. So the actors that are in it, they're going to be a part of the history of the show. All the production team, including myself, will be a part of the history of the production because this is the very first time it's going up on its feet. So they went into tech over the weekend. So I've been doing all of that. They got their final dress rehearsal tonight, so I'll be going back for that. But that's been going on. A lot has been taken out. A lot, but it's going to be a beautiful show. But that takes me to one of the award shows that just happened, which deals in the theater space. Like,
what had happened was
the Tony Awards.
Shout out to the Tonys.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Tony Awards?
Very, very. As any film director needs to be, we gonna make this happen one day. I feel it. Oscars, going to the Oscars and going to the Tonys. The Tonys is very, very. It's a very prestigious award show that you would go to because it's just, to me, is a little different from the Oscars, right? You have where there's a lot of actors, great select few of actors and actresses who got the EGOT, right? Yeah. So the Emmy, the Tony, the Oscar, the Grammy. The Tonys, to me, brings a lot more achievements than I've seen. And to say that, hey, I've won a Tony, that is a huge, huge opportunity for actors and actresses. And then you go on to the Oscars, right? Because we all know the Oscars is like the pristine awards. But then I look at the Emmys and I look at the Tonys too. And they're just as big. I remember a few years ago that Tony Awards was there, but it wasn't as popping as the Emmys and the Oscars, right? In the last few years, it feels like the Tonys are now getting more prestigious. A lot of people who are very, very talented are able to win these type of awards, and it just becomes more of an elite award show now in the last few years, let's say in the last 20, right? Where Tony was there, but no one really cared that much, but now people are starting to care a little bit more.
Well, for those who aren't familiar with the Tonys, the Tony Awards are specific to the theater space. And so with the Tonys, I think one thing that really helped shine a more prominent light on theater, I think the pandemic around the world definitely showcased just how important theater was. Because even when the film industry and the writers, strike and all that went on, they went on strike, it's like theater was still thriving. And mind you, although most theaters are indoors now, a lot of them started outside in amphitheaters. So theater is one of those things that, you don't have to have a big facility to put on a show. If you want to go in the park and pull some actors together and do scene stuff, like theater can happen all around you. And I love the fact that there are so many new projects in theater and shows that even if they're aged like decades ago, that I'm just being introduced to, because again, entertainment is a second career for me. Now, I grew up watching a lot of film and television, so there's a lot of film and TV I can tell you about. But in the theater world, I really didn't get heavy into that until I started acting and stuff. Yeah. And so I think my first time on stage for a particular theater production was 2015. Prior to that, you grow up in church and stuff. You used to do your little Christmas play and your Easter play, but I didn't think of that as, this is theater. Like, I've really tuned in to the theater space starting around 2015. But we have the Tonys. And there were some amazing categories and winners here. I'm just going to go down some of them. For Best Musical, the winner was Operation
Ooh, my bad, y'all. I'm sorry.
I'm like, what? So the winner was Maybe Happy Ending, which is Operation Mincemeat, a new musical. That was for Best Musical. Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Musical, which there was buzz around Audra McDonald for Gypsy because she already has so many. She's the most winning Tony Awards winner ever. And for those of us in the theater, we call her mother, right? Because she's the embodiment. Like when I think of theater, especially just actresses in general in the theater space, but even in the top category out of actors and actresses, Audra McDonald comes to the top every time for me. And what's ironic is I wasn't too familiar with her until I saw her in The Raisin in the Sun, the one that has Felicia Rashad and Sanaa Lathan in it, and Diddy.
Yeah.
And then Diddy, like that movie version is when I first kind of took notice of her. And I think also I remember when President Obama was in office, there was something held at the White House. I can't remember what event it was, but she ended up singing. And it was the first time I was like, oh. And it's like after I saw her at those two specific moments in time, then I started noticing her and like researching her. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like the way she was trained, the amount of work she's done in her career, but she was a fan favorite to win for the best performance by an actress in a leading role in a musical. However, the winner went to Jennifer Simard for Death Becomes Her. I'm sorry. Nicole Scherzinger, Sunset Boulevard is what that went to. I think I read that wrong. And then best performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical. The winner was Darren Criss, Maybe Happy Ending.
I like that name.
Best revival of a musical. The winner, Sunset Boulevard. Best performance by an actor in a leading role in a play. Winner, Cole Escola with Old Mary. Who else? Best direction of a musical. Winner, Michael Arden, Maybe Happy Ending. Best direction of a play. Winner is Sam Pinkleton, Old Mary. Best revival of a play. The winner was Eureka Day, Jonathan Spector. Best play. Winner is Purpose. Let's see what's best. Best performance by an actress in a feature role in a musical. The winner was Natalie Venetia Belkin with Buena Vista Social Club. Best performance by an actress in a feature play. Kara Young, Purpose. Now, the thing about Kara Young, she is the first actress or actor to win back-to-back Tonys. She won last year for Pearly Victorious. So she's back again with Kara Young, winning for Purpose. Best performance by an actor in a feature role. Winner, Jack Malone, Operation Mincemeat, which is a new musical. Best performance by an actor in a feature role in a play. Winner, Francis Drew. I think I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. But for Yellowface. Best performance by an actress in a leading role in a play. Winner, Sarah Snook, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Best original score. Winner was Maybe Happy Ending. Will Arison, who did music and lyrics, and Hugh Park, who did lyrics.
The score is so important in any theater, in movies too. But theater alone, the score is the most important role. And I think a lot of people overestimate scoring. Yeah. Right? And I tell my film friends, like, no, that the music is the part of the movie because it's going to help translate the scene, the character emotions, what's going on. How it's going to translate from one scene to another. That's the score that makes the most important. A lot of people
even with the score in itself, it's like it's telling its own story. Because you think about it, when we think about terms of if you were to put a play on and the actors had no lines, they're just acting out what the story is. You see one thing with no music, right? Yeah. You may see a story that they're acting on. Okay. And then you put music behind it that could tell a whole different story. Now, all of a sudden, the actions that they've been going through change. While you thought they were in a hurry for this, the scene that they were rushing through, now the music said, no, they're not in a hurry. They are panicked. Yeah. And they're like, so it almost like it can change a story and add the different layers, like you said.
It reminds me of, like, because in film school, we study this in Dr. Resnick's class, shout out to her, but silent film, right? Alfred Hitchcock, right? You had a silent film where there was music. There was no, at that time, they didn't have mics and sound and so the music helped translate those scenes. So these things, when you take a film class, you learn a thing or two.
Best costume design of a musical was winner Paul Tazewell for Death Becomes Her. Best costume designer of a play winner was Marge Howard, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Best scenic design of a musical winner was Dane Laffrey and George Reed for Maybe Happy Ending. Best scenic design of a play was winner Marion Buther and 59, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Best lighting design of a musical winner Jack Knowles and Sunset Boulevard. Best lighting design of a play was John Clark, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Best choreography, Patricia Delgado and Justin Peck for Buena Vista Social Club. Best orchestrations, Marco Paguaya, Buena Vista Social Club. Best sound design of a musical, Jonathan Deans, Buena Vista Social Club. Best book of a musical, winner was Maybe Happy Ending, Will Arison and Hugh Park. Best sound design winner, Paul Arditi, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. And so if you want to do the tally of everything I just said for the different productions, Maybe Happy Ending won 6 Tonys. Buena Vista Social Club won 4. Stranger Things won 3. Sunset Boulevard won 3. Old Mary won 2. The Picture of Dorian Gray won 2. Purpose won 2. Death Becomes Her won 1. Eureka Day 1. Operation Mincemeat 1. And Yellowface 1. Yeah. One of the things that was missing that people kind of thought would win something, Othello didn't have any, nominations or things like that. Candy Burris and Todd Tucker helped produce that one. Yeah. When they had Jake Gyllenhaal and Denzel Washington in it. I'm about to say Dennis Rodman. I don't know where that coming from.
I see a lot of names that I'm familiar with. George Clooney was nominated for this awesome movie that I've seen. It's called Good Night and Good Luck, y'all.
So we're in the theater space still. Because you see, he was nominated for a movie.
Well, he was nominated for the performance at the at theater, but it was a movie too.
Okay.
Yeah, it was George Clooney and Robert Downey Jr. in the movie space, and then George Clooney reprised his role from the movie to theater type show too. It was very, very good movie. I encourage people to watch it, but that was very good to see that he was nominated for a time, not necessarily winning. Daniel Day Kim, I know him, not personally. I wish I did. He is an amazing actor. He did mostly video game acting, right? Okay. Mostly, but then you've seen him in quite a few movies. I know one game he was in. It was True Crime: Streets of LA. It was an old school video game, but when I saw that name listed there, and I'm like, okay, he's doing theater now. That's pretty good because he's really, really talented in this space. Did you see? And maybe they might be in the limelight next year. Maybe Hell's Kitchen, Alicia Keys.
I have not seen it yet. I heard it was really good.
I've seen glimpses of it because I heard that it was really, really good. The music, my favorite artist Tank is in this in the musical in the theater show, and I follow him closely on Instagram, and that's for the past about 12 weeks he was doing his character in Hell's Kitchen, and he gave us behind the scenes of him performing. What's that one Alicia Keys song? If I ain't got you, baby.
Come on, vocal.
And Tank just
Some people
want it. Yeah, you got it. I was blanking out what the name was, but to see that even musical artists are dabbling. Now, obviously, he's done some acting stuff, but to see an artist transition into this theater space, right? You got George Clooney, A-list actor, into theater spaces. Right, Denzel Washington been in the theater space. I seen it where Samuel Jackson, The Hateful Eight was a theater.
And you know what? A lot of your A-list actors and actresses, a lot of them started in the theater. Yeah, Denzel and like you said, Samuel L. Jackson started in different ensemble troupes that they did theater. And you can always tell sometimes when someone is theater trained and they're in the film, roles as well. Someone just asked me that the other day because I do both. I do theater and film. They're like, which one do you like better? And I said, it's not so much that I like one better or the other. It's what they offered for me. with television and film, you know that the space that you're in, you have camera angles and it's a tighter shot. So everything becomes about your face and your body up close, showing the raw emotions and the storytelling. So it's not as big or whatever, right? But you get more of the raw, right up in your face emotions.
Yeah.
Whereas theater, the one thing I love about theater is once the first person goes on stage or the music starts or whatever, the show is live.
Yeah, it's live.
So there's no cut. I don't like that. Let's do this over. There's none of that. Okay. Yeah. And you have to be a lot more expressive because the rule of thumb is when you're on stage, you want the person way at the back of the wall or way up in the rafters to enjoy the experience as if they were right there on that front row. So you have to project more. You have to be more bolder with your movements and everything like that. But I love theater because it doesn't have that cut. Because sometimes in television and film, you're right there and the emotion is there and you're like, okay, but I love you, and like the camera's catching all this good stuff that you bringing up, and then like it's like you're on the top of this hill and you about to go over, and then the director says cut. We're gonna back that up. I'm like, what the fuck? Do you know my heart had to pull from?
From a different.
So I love those up close moments on the camera. But I love theater for the fact that it's live and you can't cut, and it makes you quickly think on your feet. I told a story. I was on a theater tour. Hey. This one was back in 2020. It was for a theater coming out of Ohio. Shout out to Mad River Theater. Hey. And this theater was called, this play was called Walk on the Rosa Parks Story. Walk on the Rosa Parks Story. Gosh, y'all got me stuttering. Because y'all wondering about how long we was taking off. Like, because y'all was in our business. That's why I'm stuttering. But anyways, so there's a moment. I played the friend of Rosa. Like, one of my castmates, she played Rosa. And I played, like, a friend of hers named Jackie. And so the film is kind of, not the film, the show is kind of showing Rosa as a young girl, growing up from her grandfather to going to school, to having to leave school to go home and take care of a sick mom, to how she gets in the civil rights movement, to the moment she sits down on that bus, right? So it's going through her life as she's growing. Gotcha. And so this particular scene is her as a schoolgirl. Her and her friend are like, dancing and singing, and she tells her friend that she has to leave school to go home to take care of her mom, her sick mom, and her little brother. Oh. And this is her best friend. They had made plans on how they was going to graduate together and do all this stuff. And so this one particular show, she has on this like kind of pea coat with buttons on about that size, like nice size button. One of the buttons pops off on stage. Now, while we're dancing and do-si-do, and she don't even see it pop off. I see it. And I know that this particular scene ends with us finishing the song and we kind of go our separate ways off stage because this is representing she's going back home and I'm staying in school, but our friendship is doing this, right? And so all I kept thinking about, this big button is on stage. The very next scene, our other castmate, Philip, who is another character in the play, he comes out and sings a song that's high-paced energy. He's jumping around, dancing. And all I'm thinking is the safety hazard this just created. Because she doesn't see this button, I do. And I'm thinking quickly in my head as I'm singing, how do I get this button off the stage?
Kick it off there.
I can't just kick it out the front of the stage because the audience is right there.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine you kick a button and pop somebody in their forehead, right? Yeah. It's going to be too obvious if I try to kick it off to the side of the stage because it's a big yellow button. Yeah. Right? It's not like it's blending in with the stage and I can just do it real fast. You don't see it. So I take this opportunity, like, when I know she's about to go this way and I'm supposed to go this way, once we finish our song, we start to walk, I look down and I see it and I pick it up. And I go to, like, I'm about to run after her, and I realize, like, she has to go do this for her. And so I just take it as, like, a keepsake and hold it here. And then I walk off to my other way like I'm supposed to. But that's how I got it on stage. Like,
that's clever.
And in theater, you have to be able to think on your feet like that to know what's next. But also know that because we're live, there is no second chance. There's no do-overs. If your mic pack, I've been on stage before where my mic has gone out or it's been doing this.
Yeah, the static.
And somebody in the wing like, it's your mic. We need to get your mic off you. And I remember one night that happened in one play, and I looked at my the people and said, "Where's your bathroom? I really got to go. I've been drinking a lot of water. That is not in the script at all." Man. But I knew they need to fix this mic, so I go off stage. Now, mind you, because I go off stage, my castmates on stage, they're like, what the hell? Like, in their mind, I can see it on their faces.
Yeah.
But they've seen the people trying to, like, wave me off to the side, too. So as I'm going to the bathroom, they are having to improv. Like, there's, 20 to 30 seconds of me being off stage.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire time at 20, they are improving everything until I come back on.
Wow.
Because I was a huge part of the story continuing.
Yeah.
So they can't just go on to the next thing without me, because then you're missing a whole chunk of the plot. And so, like, that's why I love that. But I love theater and movies and stuff equally. Entertainment in general.
Yeah. That's like a saying. I said it last night. Well, everything that can go wrong will go wrong in production. So you got to anticipate all of those things. Because I remember this past weekend doing Battle of Atlanta, the mics went down, things went down, everything went down. So good show, by the way, but it kind of reminds me of that example. That's clever, though.
Yeah.
Thinking on your feet like that. That's so clever.
And I think my nursing background plays a lot in that, too, because when you're dealing with the public and you're dealing with a multitude of people with ailments and then their family members and then, like, just their different personalities, you got to be able to quickly think on your feet, because people will hit you with some I ain't gonna say they're not stupid questions, but questions that you would have never thought to even ask. You were like, what? And so now you got to be able to think on your feet how to answer that, or a lot of times, especially when I work in a hospital setting, people will just randomly stop you as a nurse and think you knew how to do certain things. They ain't even in your job description. So you got to be like, oh, well, let me find out for you. And so you often kind of stopping and doing this and doing that stuff that has nothing to do with your profession. Yeah. But you got to be able to think on your feet how to help people, how to accommodate people and things like that. So all of that helps. But we're talking about the theater space, but we're going to go on to something else.
What had happened was...
What happened?
Still in entertainment, the BET Award. Come on.
This is BET.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
Shout out to BET.
Shout out to BET.
They want to sponsor us on the podcast. You know, hey, hey.
Come on, bet.
Come on, bet. Bet
Come
on
on, bet on.
What had happened was...
Oh, I like that. Oh, that might be the title of the podcast.
Bet on us.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
But the BET Award, I will say this. I grew up watching the BET Awards like since inception, right? And I loved it. But I will say, honestly, the last probably 5 years, maybe even 6, because I don't think I've really been in tune to the BET Awards since pre-pandemic. It just started going downhill for me. Like, back in the day, from the host to the performance, it's like people really put in effort of what was going on. Then people also, like, would show up to the BET Awards looking more... I ain't gonna say classy or sophisticated, but like they really took the award seriously. But then in the last 6 years, people just showing up naked and I'm like, yo, what? And I think, like you was talking earlier when we were talking about the Tony and the Emmys and Oscars, like the BET was created for us. Like it may not be black owned anymore, but it was created specifically as a space for black folks to be celebrated and have our film and our music and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so for us to sometimes treat the BET Awards like, oh, that's beneath us, but then be up in arms about other organizations and other award shows not recognizing us seems so stupid and redundant to me. Yeah. Like the irony of you being mad about the Oscars not recognizing black people, but then we have our own black award show and we show up and treat it any kind of way. Yeah. That just so for the last 6 years, I'm like, it's whatever. Yeah. But something this year, I don't know. I still haven't been able to sit and fully watch it from top to bottom because I've been so busy. But just the clips and stuff that I've been seeing, those are enough to make me want to watch it from start to bottom. Because the last 6 years, I really have not cared. I'll just go look at who the winners were at the end. I'm like, who all won? That's all I want to know. Yeah. But
I like it now that to piggyback off what you said. The last few years, it has been the BET Awards has been like, it's beneath us. We don't really care. And I hope, hopefully, if BET watching this podcast, I hope that they change the outlook of the look of the BET Awards, because I'm always gonna sit here and say that and I probably get this from my parents too. It's true, we have to work twice as hard for something, right? I can't, there's a lot of things that we do as a culture that I can't say, like CP time. I hate CP time. I hate that expression. Every time I hear it, not in my immediate family, but around my family, I say don't say that around me, because we have to work as hard. And now I hope now they see that, okay, BET is a show for us, right? There is still a divide between the Oscars, the Tonys, and the BET Awards, respectfully, right? So this show has to be the top notch for us. I do like it that this year alone, I saw a lot of the outfits at the red carpet, and they're representing the culture. And it's not where whoever female artist is half naked, and the male artist might have like something off with their outfit that doesn't really look right, but they say, oh, it's culture, but it looks like you rolled out of the bed,
like you just
didn't care, right?
Now, that's one thing if you're performing and your costume is part of your act.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about walking the red carpet and stuff, like you didn't even care. Yeah. And I'm not saying you got to come down there with 1,000 crystals on your body.
That's true.
And something worth like $250,000. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, look, take pride in stuff. If you bought it from Walmart and it cost you $60 as an outfit, wear it like it's $100. Wear it like it's $2,000. Like confidence and holding yourself up, like in a way that says, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Yeah. This is for us, by us, and I'm going to take pride in this.
Take pride. Would you wear that and even if it's not most expensive, that nice suit, you would wear that at the Met Gala, right? Why would you not do it at BET Awards?
Yeah.
Right? There's a difference there.
We got to start treating things that are specifically like for us, treat it like we, love it.
Yeah.
Not like it's an afterthought.
Yeah.
And then get mad when other people or other races don't want to include us in that stuff. Quit trying to assimilate when you haven't even participated or congratulated. I'm about to preach, y'all. Yeah, in the things that are for us, by us. Like, quit complaining when you treat your own stuff like trash. That's like you being mad because you didn't get invited to somebody's house. Oh, they don't never invite me to their house. But then you got a beautiful house that you let fall apart. Make that make sense.
Make it make sense, way. They
don't never invite me to their pool party. Meanwhile, your pool in the backyard, the liner is ripped, the water green, and there's dusty rocks sitting at the bottom of it. But you mad because you ain't got invited to somebody else. You got something that could be just as beautiful if you took care of it. Is what I'm trying to say.
That's some true things. True. I don't know. Maybe if Tyler Perry were to buy BET, because I remember that story came out. He was trying to buy BET at one point. It didn't work out.
Thank y'all.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. So I guess let's go down these list of winners, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So best female R&B pop artist that went out to SZA.
Yes, it did.
Respectfully so. I think SZA is fantastic artist. I love all her songs. She's on the tour with Kendrick Lamar right now. She is popping.
Yes.
Right.
I love me some SZA.
Ooh, and I almost forgot a good movie too. Good movie, One of Them Days.
I watched that.
And you like it?
Loved it.
You like it?
I did.
So I love the movie. SZA's character, she's like the craziest kooky best friend that just like reminded me of some friends who weren't really responsible, but then they learned to be responsible. I went to go see that movie in theaters. Surprisingly, and I didn't see Sinners yet, and I need to see that movie.
Yo, this is about the 5th week. I know. I keep coming. I'm like, let's talk about.
Have
you watched
Sinners.
The movie yet? No.
No.
I'm like, oh,
no.
man.
I need to. But One of Them Days is really good. It's on Netflix. Good network to be on. I kind of got freaked out when she was getting beat up at the end. That kind of, I don't know what that was. Like, you remember the spoiler alert if you ain't seen the movie, which is on Netflix, you see it. Where the other girl that comes in, the girl that was like the antagonist the whole movie, she was beating up SZA's character. I was like, you better get your hand off her.
Kiki couldn't help her much either.
Yeah, and I wigged out on that. My brother was like, they were like, you all right? Like, yeah, I don't. SZA's beautiful and she's getting beat up like that. I just wanted to jump in the movie and get off her.
But their chemistry was so good, and this was SZA's first like acting role. Yeah, but she laid into it. It was so natural.
It looked like she's been doing this for years.
So natural,
I see more movies coming in her future.
Most definitely.
But shout out to SZA. Like I say. Yeah, she's on tour right now with Kendrick, and let me tell you, SZA is amazing. I love it. I've seen glimpses of it. Her and Kendrick when they perform All the Stars, theme from Black Panther, and everybody was just like, that song is a staple.
And Luther,
unity.
I like Luther too.
Oh yes. If this was mine.
They go in.
I listen to when I listen to that song, it reminds me of the actual Luther Vandross song because at my sister's wedding, that was shout out to Deamber and Jay, avid listeners.
Yes.
That was their dance song, like their first dance song. So every time I hear that song, I think about their wedding for some strange reason. You know. Best male R&B pop artist goes out to Chris Brown. Let me tell you something about Chris Brown.
What had happened was...
Thank you. Because a lot of people don't like Chris Brown. I love Chris Brown. Regardless of what he done in the past, it doesn't matter. I feel bad for him because I feel like he still gets iced out. And this thing with Rihanna, I get it. I understand it. I don't advocate for hitting women and disrespecting women. I don't advocate for that. But that was almost like 20 years ago. We got to let that go. You know, she's pregnant again with ASAP. You know, she's living her life. There was this moment, I forgot what show it was. They were in the same room together. They gave a hug. They're like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Bam. But it still feels like Chris Brown is still getting iced out on some spaces.
It's because they've moved on.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in the world have not. Now, Chris Brown, his talent is undeniable. The boy is bad.
He bad.
Like, and he can sing any kind of genre
yes.
of music. He can dance his behind off to any kind of genre of music. But yeah, like you said, the incident with Rihanna happened back in like 2009.
Yeah.
They have since moved on. There's been a documentary that's happened that Chris finally got to tell his side of the story, and that's been years ago.
Yeah.
So it's more so people have moved on. But I also think, outside of his talent, and we talked about this before, he got locked up. Mm-hmm. He's been released.
Yeah, he's been released.
But
I remember you messaged me like, hey.
I was like, bruh, you going on tour, how you get locked up? So yeah. I think for a lot of people, you got two separate people, right? You got some people who are still holding him accountable for the Rihanna situation, which was overdone with. They've moved on. You got those set of people that are never going to let it go. They're forever going to hold him to that, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got other people, which I would put myself in this category, where we love his music, we love the talent that he is, but we also hold him accountable because the Rihanna incident wasn't the only incident that's happened. Mm-hmm. And again, you getting locked up more recently, baby, you pushing closer to 40 now. Yeah. Grow up. You know who you are. You know how they like to target you. You know how some people haven't let the Rihanna thing go. So at this point, it's like, either make it about the music, get back into acting, whatever, but stay out of trouble. So you got those type fans that like, we love your music and stuff, but accountability. Mm-hmm. Then you got other fans that be like, we don't care. Chris Brown go out there and blow up a whole hospital. We still gonna ride or die. Yeah. Like, so you got three different groups of people. I'm like, I'm in that middle group. Like, yeah, I love everything you do. But the accountability is holding your feet to the fire because you can't be out here just causing destruction and constantly getting in trouble. Yeah. And then we're just supposed to look the other way because you can dance, because you sing well. Okay. And then again, like I said, that other tier over here is just like, nah, we ain't gonna never forgive you for Rihanna. Yeah. Even though Rihanna has forgiven him and moved on, like you said, she's a mother now. Yeah. They're on their third baby, like.
They working on
that.
But
people still he got 3 kids. Like, Chris Brown got 3 kids.
That is true.
So it's just like, But I'm glad that he won.
Yeah, ASAP and Rihanna, they've been busy. They've been knocking things out the park. I'm like, dang.
Not you with these sound effects.
Like, y'all gonna slow it down? Y'all gonna have a team in a minute.
Why are you so aggressive with that? It was real. Like pop, pop. Y'all heard how that thing said.
Yeah.
I can't even pop it that loud. You said.
I do that and then, because I said it too, I do that and then it's, give me a little whoo-hoo. And you know what that is, right? It's, Yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No. Let's keep going. Best
certain
group.
Type of job, you know? Best group, Future and Metro Boomin. I gotta say, because I knew this was gonna happen. Yeah. Right? Because they were popping the last year and a half now. I'm a big Future fan. I like some of his songs, some not so much, but he has a great catalog that I really enjoy. Metro Boomin, along with DJ Mustard, buku artists, producers, and semi rappers too. So it's a no brainer for Future and Metro Boomin for their collab being a group as well. I do hope that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I ain't heard buku in a minute. That took me back.
Yeah.
You said buku. I was like,
buku money. Buku money. I do hope, because Metro Boomin, on a wrestling tidbit real quick, he wants to do, there's a wrestler that turned heel, his name is R-Truth, Ron Killens.
Okay.
Metro Boomin said, hey, WWE, I would love to produce a new theme song for him. WWE, let him do it. Metro Boomin's hot right now. It is smart marketing, and he can really knock it out the park. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Best collaboration, we talked about it. Luther, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA. If this world was mine.
It go in, out.
Na na na, ma. So of course that is a good song to listen to for best collaboration. Best male hip hop artist, Kendrick Lamar. We knew he was gonna. I mean, come on, there was a no brainer for that. But I tell you what, I was surprised about, and I like Doechii. Best female artist goes to Doechii.
Hip hop artist.
Or hip hop artist. I'm sorry. I was kind of surprised about that.
Why?
Because even though she is popping right now with that song Anxiety, because I hear it every time I flip on TikTok. Yeah. And it's maybe I'm waiting for more, or maybe I need to listen to more songs from Doechii, because even though it's not anxiety, it's a social media pop. Yeah. Right? So maybe I'm a harsh critic on that, because if you pop it on TikTok, then I'm like, okay. Or you just, hey, I get it. It's marketing. It's selling. Sure. You got to make your money, right?
Yeah.
But then when I saw that she won this award, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe she's more dope than what I think.
She really is a dope lyricist. And she can rap her behind off. So I would challenge you to listen to more of her stuff. More. Yeah. Now, the thing about social media is, like you said, when something is trending, it's going to be on every like, and so a lot of times I think that does happen. When something is trending, we tend to hear that so much that we just associate them with just that. Yeah. Like you said, I can't hear Anxiety without thinking of her song. But she is. I've listened to a lot more of her other stuff, and she's dope. She like that. You know.
And she's young too.
Yeah.
Young. I mean, very young. But yeah, like I say, maybe I gotta just hear her out, you know, because there's been a lot of artists back in the day where I heard this one song, I was like, I'm not impressed. But then I get to listen to the full album, like, okay, they're actually pretty dope. They're not bad. Video of the year, not like us, Kendrick. We know this. I mean, I knew this was gonna happen. Now, Day Free, video director of the year, Day Free and Kendrick Lamar. For Day Free, that is, I'm going to use that word again, buku money. That puts you on the map, right? Kendrick Lamar won the beef between Drake, performing at the Super Bowl, got a new album out, which that was album of the year, right? Yeah. Day Free, that's it. He could really retire off this stuff. Will he do it? I don't think he should. I think he should continue to work on more projects because, hey, you've got something of this big on your resume, right? So very, very good for that. Brand new artist, Leon Thomas. I am such a fan.
That boy's his
talent.
That man.
That man. He was boy back in Nickelodeon.
Trying to get out of the habit of doing that. Yeah. But I understand culturally what we mean when we say that boy.
Yeah.
But
that boy is good.
But that boy good.
He good.
But his writing bag itself, he writes for so many art and then producing and stuff like that. Like, and now, you know, he's out there. Like, I love his song Mud.
Make your time.
What's the rush?
Hey.
She said, baby,
so
I'm
good.
I'm a mud.
So good. Yeah. I like that one. On this album, it's called How Fast.
Okay.
And it's like a little bop. It's a good workout song, right? Yeah. He did a remix for Coco Jones's Here We Go. Or Here We Go. Oh, duet. Oh my God. So good. So congratulations to Leon Thomas again. Rightfully earned. It all started for him for Nickelodeon as an actor and singer, and we knew of him. But now that he's older, his vocal range is a little bit more extensive, and he's writing some great hits. Now it puts him on that resume like, hey, I can do this, right? And I really love it because you've got it now. You got Leon Thomas is in the mix, Chris Brown. Let's not forget about Mario. Mario's in that mix, right? So you've got all of these male artists and female artists too that is stepping up to the plate And R&B is where I love, right? R&B is my number one genre to listen to, right? Let's put Kennedy Lucas and Swanky Ori in that No. Even though I make music, y'all, I'm gonna get there one day. I'm gonna leave that to the big people, right? GNX, Kendrick Lamar wins album of the year. Like I say, we knew this was gonna happen. I knew this second thing was gonna happen because my mom listens to this song religiously. I'm a big fan of the Maverick City music.
Okay.
Let me tell you, their songs will make you cry. When I was going through some emotional times last year, Maverick City music in the Mav House, they were amazing. It's a great group of people, gospel singers, who have just an amazing palette of vocal ranges, right? They partnered up with Kirk Franklin and Glorilla.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually Glorilla, and she featured them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Rain Down on Me. Glorilla doing a gospel song.
The Bobby Jones Best Gospel / Inspiration Award. Now, I grew up, even though it's not on anymore, but on BET, Bobby Jones Gospel every Sunday. Yeah. Like, gospel artists and everything. Like, I grew up watching that every Sunday. It'd be one of the first things you see before you went to church. Yeah. Bobby Jones Gospel. And of course, because it's been off the air for so many years, some people didn't even know that Bobby Jones is still alive and well. Like, he has been at a lot of the BET Awards and things like that. But yeah, Glorilla featuring Kirk Franklin, Maverick City, Rain Down on Me, which is one of Kirk Franklin's song, Rain Down on Me. Rain down on me, let it fall on me. Like, I don't care where you are, whether you consider yourself Christian, non-Christian. Yeah. If you start doing that part with the 3-part with the tenors, the sopranos, and altos, I don't care where you can be on a college campus. Black people will just fall in where their part at, and it's like a whole party. Like, which is crazy because Kirk Franklin got called out by Kevin Hart. You know, told him not to be up there D-popping for Jesus. He was like, "Don't you come up here front twerking." Like, he was calling him out and everything. You know, which. Kirk Franklin, I grew up in the Kirk Franklin era. Like, I remember him being with God's Property and Kirk Franklin, the Family. My very first Kirk Franklin CD I bought was Kirk Franklin, What You Looking For. It is still at my house in my CD rack. I still pull it out and play it. Yeah. Like, I love that. But even back then, he was just different. Like, the older generation who was used to traditional gospel. Yeah. And then now you got Kirk Franklin talking about, for those of you who think that we've gone too far, too radical with our message. Like, they were just like, they weren't used to this man dancing and moving around. He's always danced and stuff on stage now. These past few years, it's been whole lot more looking less like Dance for Jesus and more like, oh, we go to the club after we don't pregame.
Yeah,
like,
I saw this thing on TikTok. He was performing. He was like,
so it's
I was like, what,
you know,
Kirk good?
The lines have got a little bit blurred for a lot of people. But yeah, Kirk, you know, Kevin Hart called him out on that. And people, of course, have been commenting on that, saying that was God using Kevin Hart to call him out, basically saying if a comedian can say something like that to you with no fear or judgment, they feel too comfortable that there's no separation of them seeing you as someone who represents the gospel community versus the secular world. Like, because you cross that line back over this way, and they're starting to see you less and less as someone who's a representation of what God's word is and stuff like that. That's what the people been saying, okay?
Yeah, that's what people been saying. What happened was outside.
Yeah, what happened was, but
what had happened was
Best Actress went to Cynthia Erivo, Best Actor Denzel Washington, Best Movie Luther, Never Too Much. I saw that on HBO Max. Young Stars Award, Blue Ivy Carter. Now, Blue Ivy right now is on tour with her mom, Beyonce, with Cowboy Carter. Yeah. And there's a huge difference in how her stage presence was last year for Renaissance versus this year. She is more confident. Her dancing, it has grown tremendously. Like, you can tell she's arrived. Like,
she's out there.
It had to be very, just like a shell shock for her to be on stage for Renaissance. It's her first time. It's one thing you to go for your mom's, performance and stuff, but you're backstage watching on a monitor, or you're in the crowd watching your mom. But now you're on the stage and looking out at thousands.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, all of
there.
that. She had to really grow beyond the fear of being up there and get loose. Because now, baby girl be up there dancing. She be getting.
I'm like, okay, all right, bro.
And Beyonce, they have it to where when the choreography goes to, like when the adult women are starting to twerk on them, if people pay attention, her choreography always ends with her leaving the stage right when the other grown adults are about to do all the twerking stuff.
Yeah.
So all her dancing and stuff is very age appropriate. She's always dressed age appropriate, because people forget she is only 13.
Yeah, she's very young.
Right? But she had the Young Stars Award. Sportswoman of the Year went to Angel Reese. Mm-hmm. Sportsman of the Year went to Jalen Hurts in football. Angel Reese with basketball. Yeah. BT Her Award went to Heart of a Woman with Summer Walker.
Love it.
Best International Act, Ara Star was from Nigeria. Best New International Act, TXC from South Africa. And then Julissa Costa. Am I saying that right? Julia Costa from Brazil, and Global Good, Mentivity from United Kingdom. Hey. So that concludes your list of all the BT Awards
shout out to everybody.
Now, we have to move on.
Yes, we do.
To something.
What had happened was
there was a speech given at the BET Awards. Yeah. Mr. Tyler Perry.
T-Peasy.
All right, Tyler Perry was at the BET Awards, and this is what he had to say in regards to the what he's created as far as millionaires. Mm-hmm. Oh, make sure. Hold on.
Than any studio.
Let me go back. There we go.
What had happened was
more black billionaires. Hear me when I say this. Than any studio in this city combined, because I'm making footprints. So I don't care if you're struggling, if you're trying to make it, you're trying to build a business, if you have a dream, keep making footprints. Don't let anybody stop you. You can do it. And the last thing I'll say to you is this. Hear me when I say this. Don't let your worry.
And shout out to Jamie Foxx. They did a tribute.
Than your faith. I have made more black billionaires, hear me when I say this, than any studio in this city.
So, Tyler Perry said in his speech at the 2025 BET Awards, he said that he's made more black millionaires and considered himself the black millionaire maker, just spotlighting decades-long commitment to uplifting the black talent with fair pay opportunity. Anybody who's worked for Tyler, they all say the same thing. Tyler pays me not only my worth, but a lot of times more than my worth. This is the biggest paycheck I've ever gotten, especially for some of the veteran actors who's been in this industry for 30 plus years. Yeah. So that their first huge check has come from Tyler Perry, and he's continuously making millionaires. Well, not long after he had this speech.
What happened was
that this story is out.
Yeah, recently he is now being sued for sexual assaults by the Oval actor. Who has claimed years of harassment and more. So Derek Dixon, who is on one of Tyler Perry's The Oval, has accused him, Tyler Perry, of sexual assault. And now people are kind of saying, oh, well, it's kind of ironic that this comes on the heel of him making that speech at the BET Awards. People saying, oh, well, this is the power that be. You're putting them on blast because these other studios are not paying these actors their worth. And Tyler Perry basically called them out by saying, I've made more black millionaires than any other studio. Now this lawsuit. Now, is that definitively saying that these two things are linked? No, but that is the conversation that's going on now. Because there were text messages between Tyler Perry and this individual, Derek Dixon, that has been shared. These are alleged, text messages. There's one where Tyler is in a picture next to a jet ski, and he's standing up with his, a life jacket on and some swim trunks, to where supposedly Derek, who's in blue, says, "Nice picture. Yeah, the water does look calm." And Tyler allegedly responds, "Nice picture." And then he responds, "Great, amazing, awesome picture." And then Tyler allegedly says, "You don't see that stud in that nice picture." And so there's like a lot of message back and forth that look like flirting and stuff like that. And there's one that allegedly Tyler is telling, Derek, we're friends, but on set we're not really friends. you don't want your work to be looked at as you got this because you're friends with Tyler Perry or he got you this, so it's gonna be a different me that you see on set, and pay attention to the people around me on set. Like, I don't have friends on set and stuff like that. Yeah. So whether these messages are authentic or not, is we don't know. But that's the lawsuit right now that is out against Tyler Perry by Derek Dixon of the Oval. Now, some people are saying, if this is going, so why would you keep going? Because there's a time where Derek Dixon has gone back to Tyler's house multiple times, alone, and things like that. And so why would you keep going back if that's the case? Which some can say the same thing about what they're saying in the Diddy trial right now with Cassie. They're like, well, she kept going back, And the thing is, if this is true, the way abuse and coercion and manipulation and all that works is a lot deeper than what people try to make superficial. Yeah, that's people true. Try to make it just a yes or no thing. You could have said no, or you could have said that, where you don't know what grooming may have taken place, allegedly. Yeah. You don't know what manipulation or anything have taken place.
Because Tyler, believe it or not, he's a powerhouse, right? Yeah. He know people. And you don't want to get blacklisted.
So I would say this: whatever happened, if anything happened in the dark, it definitely will come to the light. Yeah. But this is what's being highlighted right now. Now, on top of this, before this, Tyler Perry had the #1 movie on Netflix with Straw.
You know what? Yeah. We just got to do it.
Yeah, please do it. Now,
sorry.
now, Straw, there will be some spoiler alerts in this, but I'll let you know when those are coming up. But Straw is about a single mother who navigates a series of unfortunate events, leading her down an unforeseen path where she becomes embroiled in a situation she never envisioned, finding herself at the center of suspicion in an indifferent world. Now, some of the leading cast in this particular production, you got Taraji P. Henson, who plays Janiyah Wilkinson. You got Sherry Shepherd, who plays the bank manager Nicole. Tiana Taylor, who plays Detective Kay Raymond. Sinbad is in this as Benny. Rockman Dunbar as Chief Wilson. So you got Glenn Turman, also another icon legend who plays Richard. So you got some heavy hitters in this particular film, and I got to watch it. The film by far is amazing. That #1 rating on Netflix was well deserved. Well deserved. Now, I would say, like, there's some twists and turns in the film, and there is a major just twist at the end that you can be like, what?
What the? That damn Tyler Perry don't got a skin.
Well, I said this movie. Lately, the Tyler films from 688
is such a good movie.
To this, like, Tyler is putting out some great Beauty in Black. Like, Tyler's been on it lately. Yeah. I'm excited about what else is gonna happen, but one of my homegirls is in this. In that top cast, I saved her specifically for last, but Shell Purcell. If you don't
close
know,
friend of ours.
Yes, I call her Big Sis.
Yes.
If you don't know who Shell Purcell is, please get familiar with her, because she has done some amazing work across many different television shows, different networks. She's, I mean, the girl is good.
She's good.
Right?
She's good.
And she's also a very talented director, writer, producer, all that kind of stuff. And I just acted in a film with her, about 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago. Yeah. We did a film called Rose Through Cancer, where she plays lead, I'm supporting, and we have this beautiful scene together and other scenes together. Like, so I called Shell. I waited a few because I know her phone was blowing up. Now, for those who don't know, in the movie Straw, Shell Purcell, she plays the landlord. So if you see a landlord lady who you like, why she acting like that?
Yeah, and I text Shell, like, Shell, you're on for that. But
like, so I called, like, Shell she did an amazing job.
Yeah, she did.
But I had to call her. I sent her a message on Facebook. I have her number and everything. But I said, I wasn't gonna call her because I know her phone was blowing up and everything like that. And like, I actually know her in real life. We see each other in real life, so I don't need to call her. And she's so different too.
That's what's that's taboo about it.
I had one of my friends was talking about Straw, and he was like, that landlord was just nasty. I said, that's my homegirl. She said, is she really like that in real life? I said, absolutely not.
No.
She is one of the sweetest, down to earth people and fun. Like when I tell you we have fun together, she's hilarious. She's a comedian. She does it all. But I had to tell my friends like, no, she's absolutely nothing like that character in real life. She is a sweetheart. But I ended up sending her a message on Facebook Messenger, and I'm gonna play this. And I'm also gonna try to beep out because you know I get animated. So there's a few cuss words. I'm gonna try to remember where all of them are. It's only a few, but and this is where some of the spoiler alerts will come in. So if you had not watched the movie, go ahead and pause our podcast right here.
Yes.
Go watch the movie and then come back.
Yes.
Because this is gonna close out the end of our podcast. But go ahead and do that. But I'm gonna play what I sent Shell. Make sure I got turned all the way up. Shell, I've been meaning to call you, text you, but I'm pretty sure your phone's been going off the hook. So I'm like, she don't need to hear from me. She know I'm supporting her shit. That's what we do. Anyways, girl, I was watching the film and I was just like, for a split second, I forgot who you was. So I was like, bitch, I don't call Shell a bitch. I'm like, she could have gave that girl to 10 p.m. Why you would tell her 10 a.m.? And then when you sitting watching the footage playback, like, on the live when she was talking, and I said, don't look sad now. Don't look sad. Girl, but let me tell you something. When her mama said she died, I said, the fuck? My emotions, Shell, was all over the place. I was like,
What had happened was...
what? And then they played it back when she was like waving to the principal and like, you don't see her daughter. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. But Shell, you did that. You definitely did that. I was like, look at my Michelle on the screen, dog. But girl, I really did forget you was my girl for a second. I was like, this bit. But job well done. Job well done. Love you. So I had to say that to her. Because we support each other, and I met Shell I think around 2018, 17 that I met her. And this was when I was really starting to get more into my act, because like I said, I started with theater in 2015 and hadn't really transitioned too much into film and television. But I was hearing all over the place that, if you're gonna do television film, Atlanta's the place. And so I would just be typing, and I started learning what acting sites to join so I can look up auditions. So 800 casting and casting networks and all that Actors Access. And I was on 800 casting, and I saw something that said open casting call for it was going to be a series or a feature. She had decided at that point called This Life. And so I submitted for 2 of the characters and audition. And, I submitted a tape, and then there was an in-person audition. And so I went down. I hadn't at this point had any formal training, nothing, no acting. So I went down there. I remember getting my little ticket, and I went into the room. And, I had the audition sides that we were supposed to say. So I did that little scene, and then once we did that, she said, okay, we're going to do our improv right now. I'm going to give you a scenario. She gave me some scenario, and me and her was up there together, and we acted. And she was like, you are such a natural. I got cast in her project.
Lit.
And so from there, we have been friends since then. There was times when I would come down to Georgia if I had to be filming something or filming somewhere. Because she told me, if you ever down here, just let me know if you need a place to stay. I said, bet. And so I've come and I've stayed with her. Because my selling point is always, if I got to stay with you, I'm going to be on set probably 12 hours. So you ain't got to worry about me just sitting in your house, being in your space. I'm not going to be sucking up your resources or nothing like that. I'll provide my own food and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just a shower and a place to sleep. That's all I But we've been rocking since then. We've helped each other on different auditions. There's times I had to stay at her house for an extended period, 2 or 3 days. And she's like, I got 4 auditions. I want you to be my reader. I said, good, because I got 3. I need you to be my reader. And so we would read for each other. She's also an acting coach. So some of her acting, some of her coaching has directed me to dig deeper into my auditions. And I've booked several things just by the things I implemented that she's taught me. And now I'm able to help other people, that was in her class at one point that come to me to be their reader. Yep. So, Shell, we are super proud of you. Super proud. But yeah, that's my girl.
That's my girl. I worked 2 Wrongs 2. I was on that project. Her movie. Yeah. her comedy special, the newest one that's out. Worked on that.
And both of her films on Tubi.
On Tubi.
She has Two Wrongs and Two Wrongs 2.
Yep.
2 films written, directed, and produced by her.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Yeah.
She had a podcast too, and see if she want to bring that back because I was her director on that project.
Yeah.
So
and that's
she linked us with me and you.
Shell is the reason why.
What had happened was
Shell is the reason how we got together.
Met this show,
I told y'all she's a comedian, and she had her special that she filmed. It was on tour and it was filmed. Kennedy was a producer and DP that did the filming for that, and so it was in Charlotte, up in North Carolina, that they had the premiere, and so I drove up to be a part of it. And it was in the theater, and that's where she introduced Kennedy to the audience and everything. And y'all know, EVE stay networking. I mean, having some business card. So once it finished, I was like, because he was taking like BTS while we were there of like the audience and everything. So cool. And when he came near me, I said, hey. So I'm an actress and stuff, and if you ever want to do any projects together, like here's my card. I'm down in Georgia all the time.
Like, yep.
Let's do some work. He's like, oh, good, because I got this. I do a podcast, but I'm wanting to revamp it and get some more hosts or maybe a different host with me. I said, bet. Gave him that, and literally we was on the phone or FaceTime or something. Maybe a week later. Yep. And then the very first episode went up like maybe 2 weeks after that.
Yep.
Like, that was in September of last year.
That was a Zoom in kind of thing, but now we got the beautiful toys and live in person.
I think if you ever go to our Instagram, WHHW Radio 1.
Yes.
I almost messed that up.
No, you got it.
That's on Instagram. And
a lot of followers there, too, by the way.
And what had happened was Radio Podcast on Facebook. If you ever go back to probably the first 5, if that, episodes, you see us where we're not really in the same room. We did it virtually. Yeah. So we have backdrops, but we did it virtually. And I was like, you know what? I think our chemistry would be better if we was in person. Yep. So I was like, I will drive to Georgia so we can do our taping.
Right here in the studio.
At the studio.
Yep.
And so that's what we did. And we started investing more and getting sponsors for more equipment.
Yes. Thank you, Road, by the way. We love y'all.
And coming down here and getting these episodes recorded. So that's what it is. Shell was the bridge to both of us. And
Shout out to Shell.
Yeah, if y'all haven't seen Straw,
make sure
y'all go see that because we ain't got nothing else for you.
Yeah.
What had happened
We'll see y'all back here tomorrow, doubling up this week. So y'all stay tuned.
Because we going on vacation.
Yes.
Don't worry about how much time we be in the studio.
Yes.
You gonna get your episodes.
Hey.
What had happened was
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
What had happened was
What
what had happened was
what had happened was Yo, I'm your girl Evan Letitia. This is Kennedy.
Yo, we'll see y'all next one.
Yo, we out.
What had happened was Atlanta, live from K.L.P. Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The Swanky One, New K.L.P.
and
With your girl Evelyn Letitia.
Live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcast.